Hey guys, Josh from WA Production here, and today I'm really excited to share with you this awesome plugin, Halo. This plugin is super unique because it's a synth, it's a sampler, it's a rompler, it's a bit of everything, and lets you create these amazing, thick, heavy sounds that are especially good for like the heavier EDM genres. But as you'll see in this video, you can really use it for anything because of the flexibility it gives you. It's set up in a very unique way while still feeling very familiar and intuitive to use. And so I really love the plugin. I think it's going to be super valuable for you guys. So first, I'm going to start by going in and showing you some of the presets and sounds that comes with it. And then I'll go into the details of the parameters and the setup of the plugin and creating our own sound. So let's get started. So as you can hear, there's a lot of different kinds of sounds included in the presets, and that's because it's so versatile of a plugin. And so I'm going to start with this preset manager here. Firstly, you can see that we've got all these different banks here, which is a nice, easy way to organize things. Additionally, though, you've got tags. So if you're looking for a particular type of sound, you can just hit the tags and narrow it down that way. You also can star your favorite sounds and then hit the star and find your list of saved favorites. And then, of course, you can also search for a specific preset here. You can import presets, you can overwrite presets, you can pretty much do whatever you want with them. And then you can click this arrow to make it a larger window, which is useful if you want to have a bigger view of everything as well. Down here, you can switch into the macros view, and that is pretty self-explanatory. You've got two macros, the X and Y here, and you can assign pretty much anything to them just by right-clicking, which is really useful and handy. You can also go into the matrix here, which, as you can see, that now shows our assigned parameter that we map to macro X, and you can adjust the range and the inversion of the parameter, basically. So if we remove that, it'll disappear, but you can have, as many of those as you need here as well, and it'll show up every time. And then you've got this master EQ as well to carve out the sound how you like it. This random button also creates basically a random preset. So it'll adjust literally everything and create a whole new sound for you. So let's get going. I'm going to jump into the presets and select a blank preset. So we start from scratch. Basically just a standard sound there. So I'm going to start with the output section. So kind of going backwards, you've got the volume and the width, which are pretty standard on the output. And then you have this envelope section. So what you'll see is that when I click the envelope tab, it opens this advanced envelope tab in the middle. And so that's a theme that you'll see throughout the plugin when you click these different tabs, which is super awesome. You can adjust in the simple part, you can just adjust the attack and the hold, but in the middle, you can have the full range of your AHDSR envelope, which if you're watching this video, you probably already know what that means, but you can adjust it accordingly. Going down here, you've got your sample, your sub, and your synth. So I'm going to turn off these two and start with the synth. So you've got a pretty standard 2 oscillator synth setup. You can adjust the different waveforms you use, and then the mix between the two. And then, of course, you can automate, modulate, and map any of these. So we could control the mix with an LFO or whatever else you want, or assign it to a knob on your MIDI controller. So that gives you some cool flexibility. You've got standard other parameters here like detune and low cut, high cut, and adjusting the octave as well. And then you've got unison here too. So standard controls for a synth, but then you can also add in a sample layer. So that's what makes this plugin really cool as well. First, I will solo the sample layer by clicking this little yellow dot, which solos it. And so as you can see here, we basically have a selection of different samples that we can use. And then within this, you can change the starting point, and you can even reverse it. And if you want to mess with it, you can just randomize this. And you can go up and down with this control. And then you can even load in your own samples. So that's what I was talking about. You can really create any kind of sound you want by loading in a sample you got somewhere else, something you recorded, something you created, and adjust the settings with reversing and looping and all of that as well. So some really awesome controls within the sample interface. And so you layer that with your synth. And man, we've created a pretty heavy sound, but you know what it's missing? It's missing a sub. So let's add that in as well. So we can make it direct so it goes straight to the master, or you can have it modified by these other effects that are in serial as well. So we can change the LFO settings here. We can drive it so that it has some additional harmonics here. As you can see, you've got this visual representation here, which is super helpful to see exactly what's going on with your sound. But if you don't like that for some reason, you can turn it off, but I like it. Down here, I neglected to mention also, you've got your legato settings, your monophonic, polyphonic. You can adjust your glide and your pitch bend as well. So you've got all those settings there. And then you can also get expansions that they have and load them in here and have additional presets and samples and that kind of thing. So pretty cool. So now that we've got our sub, let's hear our sound together. If you wanted to add a volume LFO to your sub, you can. I don't want to do that right now, so I won't. But that's an option as well. So moving up here, we've got our filter settings. And so as you can see, you've got advanced LFO filter settings here as well. But you've got a low pass filter, a notch filter, and a high pass filter. All right, so I want this not to be direct so that it's affected by all of them. So now, as you can hear, the sub disappears when we put on the high pass filter. So one thing I will do is just to show you, I think I will turn down the low pass filter and add an LFO. So that sounds pretty cool. Maybe we'll add that as well to the notch. Let's see how that sounds. All right, I don't like that as much, so I'll turn it off. All right, cool. So you can see that it's super visual as well. In addition to that spectrum analyzer, essentially, you've got this movement as well, and you've got the movement of the filter that it's controlling. So you can really see exactly what's happening in your sound, which I find super useful for my production. So next in line, we've got the distortion. So we can turn that on. And within the distortion, you can see there's even distortion presets that come with it. And so you can mess with these, you can save your own presets. So not only do you have global presets, you've also got presets within the samples, you've got presets within the distortion. It really just gives you so many different layers of control and ways to save and reuse ideas that you've had before. So let's turn on the distortion and see what it sounds like. pretty cool. And then after that, there's this post filter option as well. So after the distortion, you can then filter with a few different filter types here. That's pretty cool. So let's say we wanted to modulate that with an LFO. We can jump down to our LFO section here and then see these different sections. I could right click and tell it to assign to the LFO, but it also just gives you these really easy controls right here. So this is the post filter, which is this section. And so we can turn up the amount. We can adjust the shape of our LFO. We can even use a preset if we want to. That's pretty cool. That's pretty sick, man. I'm starting to like this. Okay, before I start playing around too much, I'll just keep going. So we've got our two LFOs here that you can assign to a variety of things. We could add it to the pitch. So a lot of things, you can really assign it to anything else. These are just like the most commonly used, but you could right click and assign it to whatever as well. And again, you've got that visual feedback. And you can see without even having to click the LFO what the shape of it is. So that's pretty cool. You've got the shape down here as well. See, I can adjust this and it changes this shape here. So just really thoughtful design to make it really easy to use and add all these different features without overcomplicating the GUI. And then over here, you've got the stepper. I'm going to just turn off the LFO for now. I think combined with the stepper, it might be a little too crazy, but I just want you to be able to hear the stepper. So we can, similar to the LFO, we can assign it to some basic settings here. And then there's all these presets as well for the stepper. So on top of global presets, on top of sample presets, on top of distortion presets, we've got stepper presets and LFO presets and all these different things you can do. So yeah, not the prettiest thing ever, but you know, if we were more careful about what we assign it to, we would have a little more fun with it and create something nice sounding. And of course, you can adjust these however you like and change the patterns to your liking. So I'm going to turn that off, but I'll turn the LFO back on. So we've got that going. And then over here, we have our effects. So pretty standard reverb, delay, phaser, chorus, and then some parameters and settings within each that are pretty handy as well. So let's just turn some of those on. So yeah, pretty straightforward. What's also cool with Halo is that when you buy the plugin, you also get the Halo Effects plugin. So you can load just the Halo Effects plugin on and add these cool effects to any sound that you have, whether it's a sample or another synth or another instrument or anything like that. So you basically get two plugins in one, which is pretty cool. Down here, you've got the pitch envelope section, which lets you kind of decide how the pitch moves over time. So you get the idea. You can adjust the pitch envelope that way. I'm going to turn that off for now. And then down here is kind of a tonal shaper EQ section. All All right, so that's pretty much it for Halo. I hope you guys think it's as cool as I do. I mean, there are other Romplers, there's other samplers, there's other synths, but this is a really elegant way to put it all together, and I think they've done an excellent job of making it very easy to use, very powerful, super unique, and sometimes you just need to use a plugin that's set up a bit differently than your other ones and generate inspiration that way, because a great new song can come from just one single sound. You get inspired by one sound, and then it just leads you on a path to this awesome journey to creating a whole new song, a whole new sound. And Halo has definitely made me feel inspired. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful. Go out and try out Halo. It's on our website at waproduction.com, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.